In this video, we're going to be reacting to the strength and conditioning methods of Madrimov. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Boxing Science React series. This is our special feature on the Boxing Science YouTube channel where we analyse the champions of past, present and future. We analyse their training methods and look at what makes them fitter, faster and stronger. We've done a range of different fighters so far, been really popular. We've done Canelo, Crawford, Gervonta Davis, Dimitri Bivol, and many more. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content. In this episode of the Boxing Science React series, we're looking at the Uzbekistan sensation, Israil Madrimov. The Dream is one of my favorite fighters. His dynamic footwork, his punching power, his unique style, really fantastic to watch, and his training methods even better, something that I've kind of been watching and stealing for a number of years now, and it's been great to see his rise, his success, and now is at that world championship status, and it's really great to see. So really excited for this episode and sharing the training methods of the Dream, Israil Madrimov. So Madrimov has probably the best footwork in boxing, so where better to start than looking at the footwork drills that he does. He's very fast, he's dynamic, a lot of complex movements as well, and it's got the footwork drills to match it. And these drills are something that I've shared quite a lot on the Boxing Science YouTube channel before, looking at the Uzbekistan national team, and Madrimov does this, he's the king at it. I could watch these drills all day long. You can see these drills are fast, they're complex, they're dynamic, and these actually are really transferable towards Madrimov's boxing style. One of the first ever fights that I saw Madrimov is where he actually did a crossover step into body punch, which were unbelievable. And that's kind of what caught my eye and following his career ever since. And these footwork drills are something that I've actually transferred towards the Boxing Science program. Now, the reason why I say transferred is because these drills are very hard to do. There's no way that I could coach them. They seem quite random, and also it's something that they've been doing for many, many years. To be able to pick that up and put that into the program takes hours, months, potentially years of practice to be able to master. So even though somebody might look at Madrimov and look at his footwork and think, right, I want to do what he's doing, see these drills, these can be quite daunting. So what we do at Boxing Science is break these down into different plyometric drills. So we do our advanced plyometric drills, such as like crossover steps, ollie shuffles, crossover with tuck jumps. If you're a keen follower of Boxing Science, you'll have seen these before, either on our YouTube channel or across Instagram as well. And these are challenging short ground contact times, which are really beneficial towards punching, but also beneficial towards dynamic footwork. It's challenging complex movements and being able to absorb and reproduce force through a range of different movement planes. This is important for boxing when we're moving in and out of action, we're needing lateral movement and needing to be able to produce force very quickly. Even though that these exercises don't really look like boxing, people when we do these either through our sessions or through our workshops often think that we're just having a laugh and making fun of them. It's not. It's something that can be really fast, really dynamic, working that foot complex, that calf complex, that can transfer into fast, forceful actions in the ring. This is the way that I'd probably replicate the training methods of the Uzbekistan national team and Israil Madrimov into a Boxing Science program, something that is getting the benefits of the exercises that they're doing, but doing it a little bit more rigid, something that we can quantify more, something that is going to be broken down and is going to be more achievable for our athletes to do. So Madrimov has a unique boxing style, very fast on his feet, very relaxed through the punches, then he has a snap at the end of the punch, very much like how Golovkin fought, in terms of like needing that power, that speed, but also having that stiffness through his forearms. I can imagine that Madrimov has incredible grip strength, and we can see this in a few of his exercises that we're going to mention. First of all, is doing wrist curls. So wrist curls are fantastic for the forearm strength, the fact that it's seated, having the elbows fixed in position. Wrist curls are good, but what I'll probably look to do is trying to improve wrist extension rather than wrist flexion. Flexion is something that you want to avoid because this can end up leaving the hand in a more vulnerable position when coming into impact with your pads, with the bags, and also your opponent. That's probably where you're going to end up getting most of your hand injuries. So what we're wanting to do is trying to keep the wrist up and being aligned to be able to support that hand and wrist. So instead of doing like wrist curls like that, I'll be looking to do more kind of reverse wrist curls as well. But like I said, Madrimov, this will not be the only exercise that it does in terms of improving his forearm and his grip strength, because it's pretty phenomenal. You can see this is where he gets the punch, being relaxed through the punches, but also having that stiffness upon impact. This exercise, a banded landmine squat to press, a fantastic exercise that we actually use at Boxing Science. The reason why it's such a great exercise is because the landmine squat helps you learn that squat pattern without shear forces going through the spine. Back squat or box squat can be quite problematic for fighters because of the compression forces going through the spine. The landmine squat kind of takes that away. So it increases that core activation. It's a safer way to load up the squat. Doing it into a pressing action helps improve that acceleration through the concentric action, but also improves that kinetic chain sequencing, the force from foot going all the way through to fist. Adding a band to that will increase that acceleration, because actually as you extend through the squat and raise a landmine, the weight actually goes down. It's not too much, but it actually decreases as you go up. So what we want to do is trying to increase the weight as we go up. So we're increasing that length tension relationship, we're increasing that acceleration. A lot of different boxes that this ticks here. One, a safe squat action to be able to load up, to be able to strengthen the lower body. It's linking a lower body and upper body action. So this is fantastic for kinetic chain sequencing. Adding a band to that will help increase acceleration, which will then transfer into more forceful and powerful punches. Quite interesting, a belt squat with shadow boxing, working side to side. What's really important when working laterally is to keep squatting and keep the foot into position. So Madrimov has fantastic lateral movement. The thing is with lateral movement, sometimes people can end up coming a little bit too upright with the chin in the air. You can see with Madrimov, it always stays really low. So you can see that this exercise actually transfers really well, because we're increasing that lower body activation, moving laterally, but also as he throws the punches, is keeping that lower body stable. This is what's going to help improve lateral movement, but also be powerful and be defensively smart whilst doing lateral movement. So fantastic exercise here. Might not look specifically like boxing, but you can see that there's a big transfer from this exercise into Madrimov's boxing performance. Now this is really impressive. Pull-ups with a plyometric clap in between. This is phenomenal. Like the amount of strength that you need to be able to pull yourself up to create enough air time to do a clap, then being able to grip straight away, a lot of strength through the forearms, which we've already discussed, something that Madrimov needs to be able to generate that punching power, but also the strength of the lats to be able to control yourself in a very quick eccentric action. Now this is really important for the punch, but also particularly Madrimov's punching style. Your lats and your posterior shoulder muscles are really important to being able to decelerate the punching arm when at full extension. The reason why we need to decelerate, obviously we want to accelerate and being able to punch as hard as we can. We need to decelerate enough to be able to control the punching arm, to be able to bring it back into a position. But also when you're missing a shot, what you're not wanting to do is to draw your elbow, draw your shoulder. So deceleration, the posterior shoulder muscles and lat muscles are really important. Now, they're really important for Madrimov because he has got that relaxed style where he generates a lot of force through rotation. His arms are really relaxed and then he snaps at the end range. So then he needs that deceleration there. This exercise, you can just see the transfer in terms of his physical capabilities and his actual boxing style. I wouldn't advise most boxers to go out and do this because, believe it or not, when doing the technique properly, there's not that many boxers that could do 10 or 12 bodyweight pull-ups or doing weighted pull-ups. So there's no way that this exercise is actually transferable to most boxers. But being able to train that deceleration through the lats and the shoulders is needed to be able to, one, improve punching power, but also to improve the safety of the upper limb during a punching action. Different ways that you can do this. You can do a fast prone row, which is basically going into a dumbbell prone row position, holding the weights at the top and doing a fast release and being able to bring that in. That fast release is challenging, like a fast eccentric action for your lats and your posterior shoulders to be able to control the weight towards the end range without jarring the elbow. We can go more boxing specific with a cable row rotate. Again, doing it a normal action, but then also doing it with a quick release. So pulling the cable in, doing the quick release, and then pulling back. You can even go more specific with punch decelerations, where we're grabbing a band into a punching stance, being open, and then driving through on a straight shot. And with this increased velocity during the punching action and the band pulling the punching arm is really important for the lats and the shoulders to be able to control that deceleration there. Madrimov, really impressive that he's doing these plyometric pull-ups, but probably something that you're not wanting to do in case you're wanting to fall off the pull-up bar or cause an upper limb injury. But there's lots of different things that you can take from this. Fast deceleration of the lats is really important. Sticking with the upper body plyometric theme, we've got some plyometric press-ups here. Unbelievable skills, absolutely unbelievable skills. His ability to produce force through his upper body, doing some rotations, everything. He's got all the tricks in the book with a backflip to finish off the job. So yeah, he has got some incredible upper body hand speed. Now to go into doing some plyometric press-ups with a body weight vest and doing multiple claps, that's quite difficult. Plyometric press-ups can be really good for increasing hand speed and upper body momentum, but you've got to do that in a safe way. So starting off with fast press up without a release at the start, so starting from a dead start and then driving through, that is going to be really good for hand speed. And then you start building it up. Deceleration first, being able to decelerate and absorb force, really important for plyometric press-ups, dealing with these eccentric forces, and then going into a concentric action, just the way that we'd be training our lower body plyometrics. Then we start building up by either doing a plyometric press-up, going onto some weight plates. So we're going from a concentric action, we're reducing that eccentric forces by not going towards the same start point. We've got banded variations where we're taking away body weight and more repeated actions. So when we're dropping into the eccentric and driving through into concentric action. From the plyometric press-ups, he did about 10 or 12 plyometric press-ups there. Volume quite excessive there, but his general athleticism is unbelievable. 5 to 8 repetitions on plyometric press-ups, more going towards 5 and also going with a very cautious approach. Learn how to absorb force first, then doing like some safe variations, whether that's on the plates, on the bench, or doing banded variation, and then look to do more advanced variations. Here we've got some fantastic punch specific exercises. First of all, he's got the med ball punch throw, and it's adding like a little hook at the end of this. Now this is really good, and this is something that we use at Boxing Science. One, to work that kind of rotational action after throwing a punch, which is beneficial for combination punching, but also it's going to get you into a better technical position after throwing that backhand punch. A lot of people end up overreaching, going over the front foot when doing a med ball punch throw, doing a lead hook at the end of it. This gets you into a better position to be able to throw a lead hook, because if you're going over the front foot, you're not going to be able to throw a lead hook. So see Madrimov here, throwing the punch and then adding like a little punch at the end of it. That's really good to see. Do some oblique sling training as well. This is improving that rotational power, that trunk and that lower body contribution in a punching action, and also doing the row and throw at the same time, because actually needing to utilize the lats is really important in terms of improving rotational power. So some fantastic punch specific drills here. Great to see, because he's doing some real generic exercises that help improve strength and power, but also looks to try and transfer that into his unique boxing style. So here Madrimov doing the kettlebell swing. Kettlebell swing, fantastic exercise to improve hip extension forces from the lower body. This is important because we're needing hip extension and rotation to be able to transfer force from lower body through the kinetic chain, through the punching action. Kettlebell swings often used towards like strength speed and speed strength phases, as it's a more power-based exercise. With Madrimov here, it looks like he's underloading this action a little bit because he's getting a lot of high. And this is something that I often see with boxers, that underloading that kettlebell swing action because they just find it quite easy, going above overhead, using the upper body as well. We're wanting to increase lower body momentum with this. So we're wanting to get a heavy enough kettlebell to be able to increase them hip extension forces, primarily a lower body exercise. So I like to use a weight load that basically a boxer be able to get around about their belly button or their sternum max, because that's the right amount of weight load for them to be able to control. A great tool to use to guarantee this increase in lower body momentum is using a banded variation. Getting a band, attaching it to the kettlebell and standing on the bands. This will help increase acceleration during a kettlebell swing. So increase acceleration, increase hip extension forces, but also with the band, it's going to pull that kettlebell in. You can see Madrimov here is kind of floating through it, relax on the way down. With the band, this is pulling that kettlebell back in, which is really challenging the stretch shortening cycle of the lower body. With this is going to be able to help increase eccentric strength, to be able to absorb force and reproduce force, which is really important for the lower body action during fast and forceful punches. Trying to improve his lower body strength with single leg step ups. Fantastic exercise to use. There's research that is showing that increased lower body activation, increased loading through doing heavy loaded step ups. So it's an exercise that is very low technical demand, but you're going to get fantastic physical adaptations from, as long as you're loading it up right. You can either load it up through a safety bar squat or back squat. I tend to go for a safety bar for this. The reason why is because you can increase the load through probably what they're not used to doing a back squat on. So increased forces going through the upper back. Doing it in a safety bar position is going to be more beneficial. You can do it with heavy dumbbells, which I find really beneficial because it's also working grip strength at the same time. You can actually increase the demand on the lower body without increasing the dumbbell weight by adding bands. So adding the bands around the hips and being really fast and forceful during dumbbell step-ups. So fantastic exercise to see Madrimov doing there, but these are different ways that you can help optimize the physical adaptations from this very useful exercise. Looking at some of Madrimov's conditioning methods now, it does like a lot of hill running. He trains mostly in California, but also when he's back home in Uzbekistan, you see him doing these mad hill runs. He does most of his high intensity conditioning through circuit forms. Here he's doing some sled pushes with some rope drags. Great for upper body and lower body conditioning. Good intensity here. Looks like he's going to be working muscle buffering and also some central adaptations at the same time. Another exercise that is just showing how strong he is through this upper limb, especially through his forearm. So really good to see this. So Madrimov is doing some single leg plyometrics here, something that I often quite avoid with the boxing science programming. Say a few reasons why, but this technique is actually quite good. He's getting fast off the floor, he's getting some good jump height, really reactive, great technique. So it's really good to see. We've always said with Madrimov, fantastic footwork, a lot of like kind of more low intensity plyometrics to build up that foundation. So his reactive strength will be really good. A lot of boxers might struggle with single leg plyometrics. The reason why is because we do a lot of testing at Boxing Science. What we see is a main limiting factor for these boxers is the ability to absorb force through the foot complex during intensive plyometrics. So this testing is done with both feet on the floor. Athletes are struggling with dealing with eccentric forces during intensive plyometrics. So if you take one foot away and go to single leg, it's going to be really difficult for athletes to be able to achieve the right amount of contact time on the floor to stimulate adaptation, but also they'll look to probably try compensating in any way, whether that's a knee bend, whether that's a valgus knee bend or a hip shift. They'll look to try and compensate in different ways. And this makes it not only a suboptimal exercise to do, but also becomes quite dangerous. So with our single leg plyometrics, we try and do this either with body weight assistance through bands or through a bar, but also we look to try and do some low intensity single leg plyometrics to start off with. Doing an alternate single leg pogo, just basically working on that reactive element, doing like single leg slaloms and doing some of our more complex exercises as well, which challenges the single leg, some ollie shuffles, because even though it's not single leg that you're on one leg, there's a different demand on each leg through each action. So I class that as a single leg plyometric. So if you're looking to try and improve single leg plyometric work, don't look to try and do some hurdles like this, because like I said, Madrimov is a fantastic athlete and is actually doing this really, really well. But for most athletes that I come across would struggle with this exercise. So start off with very low intensity, single leg plyometrics, and then start to build that up. Rotations, some plate rotations. This is pretty good for kind of that rotational strength, upper body, shoulder mobility, also working serratus anterior, which is defined as a puncher's muscle, which is really important to be able to control the scapula during punching action. Seeing a lot of kind of back action going here. I'll probably look more towards kind of keeping that spine controlled. So then you're working your obliques a little bit more. But it's a great exercise to use. It's also doing some bicep curls here. Great to see. Bicep curls aren't used a lot in boxing, but biceps are really important for that deceleration of the punch and also for bent arm shots as well. Something that Madrimov really needs to suit his boxing style. So it's great to see him using some bicep curls here. Okay guys, so that's the end of this episode of the Boxing Science React series. It's been fantastic to look at the training methods of Israel Madrimov. It's great to see how his exercise selection transfers into his unique boxing style. And that's the main thing that I see with these Boxing Science React series. There's a reason why these exercises are being selected. The reason why we do these Boxing Science React series is because some of these exercises are applicable to them, but they might not be applicable to you. They might not be appropriate for your current training status. And this breakdown of the exercises used and the different variations will help you be able to train like your favorite boxing champion. So if you like this video, if you could hit the like button to help the growth of the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Boxing Science React series. Hopefully see you on the next video at Boxing Science.